Hey everyone! So today's video I'm going to be talking about parents and body modification. Specifically I'm going to be talking about my family and my experiences and how I convinced my parents to let me get piercings and tattoos and stretch my ears and stuff like that. So let's get started. So I was not exposed to body modification until I was maybe 14 years old. I just was not around it. None of my family members were modified or are modified except for my sister and my dad. And my cousin has a couple tattoos. But I wasn't exposed to it. You know, body modification is kind of like frowned upon in my family. Like they don't like anything unless it's a normal earlobe piercing. And I wasn't allowed to start modifying myself until I was 18 years old. So I honestly don't have any advice for anybody who's like under the age of 18 and wants to start getting piercings or stretch your ears or something like that. I honestly don't have any advice because I couldn't start doing anything until I was 18 years old and my parents couldn't tell me no. So, yes. When I was a scene kid, when I was going through my scene phase, I was 13, 14, 15, and I just remember wanting to have my lip pierced so bad, and it was killing me that my mom wouldn't let me get it pierced. And, you know, she's very anti-piercing, anti-tattoos, anti-stretched ears, anti-everything, unless it's a normal earlobe piercing. Like, she did not even, like, start dyeing her hair until she was, wow. And I know I was in high school when she started dyeing her hair. And, like, she had never touched, like, it was all virgin hair. And so when she started doing that in high school, it was when I was in high school, I was like, you're dyeing your hair? Who are you? You're not my mother. Like, my mother doesn't dye her hair. Like, she does not alter herself in any way. Like, for the longest time, she didn't even wear earrings. So it was kind of, like, weird. So I wasn't exposed to piercings and tattoos until I was in high school. So, you know, because in high school, you know, like, everybody's different. Everybody's parents are different. And, you know, some parents let their kids dye their hair, get piercings and stuff like that. So that's when I was, like, really exposed to it. Because I would go in and there would be, like, older kids that had, like, their lip pierced or their nose pierced or their ears stretched or their hair dyed green or something. So my grandma, every time I get a new piercing, she's like, what's in your face? Stop doing that. Take that out. And I'm like, Grandma, fuck off. So, I don't actually say that. That's just a joke. So, my aunt doesn't really say anything. Nobody really says anything except about my hair colors. Like, when my hair was red, my grandma was like, that looks it's so unnatural, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Grandma, I don't live my life to be natural. Like, she was happy when I dyed my hair black again because she was like, I like this better. It's natural. And I'm like, yeah, but I fucking hate being natural. So, yeah, my family is very anti-everything. And my dad, he has one tattoo. It's like a sun thing on his bicep. And he got that when he was going through like a midlife crisis. And this is like maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. And he came to visit. My parents are divorced and my dad lives in another state. And he came to visit one time and we were all like, what's on your arm? And he's like, it's a tattoo. Want to see? And we were like, why? Like, you don't like tattoos. So my dad doesn't really say anything anymore at this point. You know, my parents like the typical, you're never going to get a job, you're never going to be taken seriously if you've got piercings and tattoos and stuff like that. And my sister is a lot like me in the sense that she loves piercings and tattoos, but she doesn't love anything else other than that. Like, she's got a bunch of piercings in her ears, and she's got a bunch of tattoos. Like, she's working on a half sleeve right now. And, you know, she's like me in that sense, but I'm the only one in my family that's really, like, interested in body modification. Like, I love split tongues, and I love ear pointing, and I love, you know, stretched ears and stretched labrettes, and I love tattoos and subdermal implants, and I love it all, and I think they're all beautiful, and, you know, I'm the only one that is really, truly interested in it. And, you know, it was kind of hard, and it still kind of is hard, you know, having piercings and kind of being like, I'm like the emo of the family, really, because everybody else is like, you know, they're like girly, or like they wear heels and, you know, skirts and dresses, and I'm like, nah, I'll wear jeans and sneakers and t-shirts. So, you know, it doesn't really like affect me, it doesn't really bother me, because I know my family loves me for me, and you know, they really don't say much anymore now that I'm 20, but when I was 18, I was like, I'm going out and I'm going to get my lip pierced because I've wanted it for a really long time. So I got my lip pierced and it had snake bites, and then a few months later I got my nose and my tongue pierced. I don't have my tongue pierced anymore. It was causing me problems. So yeah, I just remember when I discovered body modification, I wanted everything pierced. Like, I wanted my eyebrow pierced, I wanted my cheeks pierced, my lip, my nose, my septum. I'm pretty sure that if I could, I probably would have gotten my eyelid pierced because I was that desperate for piercings. So now when I started stretching my ears, if anybody has seen my very first video, not my very first one, but like the very first one where I talk about ear stretching, it was like a Bod Effects unboxing thing. If anybody has seen that video, I mentioned that my mom started crying when I told her I was going to start stretching my ears. And she did. She started crying. She was like, oh my god, they're going to look so ridiculous, and they're going to be so big, and they're going to be giant holes. And I'm like, but Mom, they look fucking awesome. I love them. Stretched ears are like my favorite modification ever. And you know, I showed her what size I was going to at the time. It was a 00, and I was going to stay there for like a really long time, but we all know how that went because I'm at 5'8" now. She still hasn't noticed that I've gone larger than that. And I can't believe she hasn't noticed, but she'll probably notice for like the next 2 sizes or something. So yeah, she started crying because she's just so against it. And I'm like, you know, she's like, you're never going to get a job. And I'm like, Mom, I will be able to get a job. Don't you worry. Don't you worry your pretty little head. So yeah, my parents don't really say anything because I'm, you know, about what I do with my body anymore, because I'm 20 and I'm an adult and they can't really tell me no anymore. So yeah, I honestly don't have much advice when it comes to like if you're under 18 and want to get a piercing or stretch your ears, because when you're 18, your parents can't tell you no. You can do whatever you want. And that's what I had to do. I had to wait till I was 18. And now I can do whatever I want. And it's great. So, but I am kind of, you know, I am lucky that I had parents who let me express myself by going through my scene phase. They let me express myself in like the way I dress and the way I did my hair, like styled it, because I wasn't allowed to dye it either. Like, I had highlights, but I wasn't allowed to like actually dye like my entire head until I was 17 years old. And I knew I was going into beauty school, so that's when they started letting me like play with my hair a little bit. But I wasn't allowed to use bleach or anything. I wasn't allowed to lighten it or anything, so yeah. But I am lucky in the sense that I had parents that let me express myself in other ways. You know, sometimes I kind of like look back on my old pictures and I'm like, Mom, why did you let me leave that house looking like that? And, you know, she's like, you're just lucky that you have me as a mother. And I am lucky. I love my mom. I love my parents. I love my family. But sometimes, you know, when I was young and angsty, I was just like, you're all annoying. But, yeah, so that's my experience dealing with parents who are against body modification. So, yeah, a lot of people who are modified, you know, you can approach them with, like, a more mature manner. You know, you can be like, you can take piercings out. Just tell them, like, the pros and cons of piercings. And, you know, if you're stretching your ears and you go to a small size, they'll close back up. And, you know, you can get piercings and you can take them out and, you know, it'll leave a very small scar. And I mean, that's all I can really say. That was my experience with my family, and I don't know what else to say. So, thanks for watching, subscribe if you liked it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!